Hi everyone, this is your second bonus video for the week, and I'm just going to say at the start that this is entirely optional, although I would very strongly suggest that you watch the content all the way to the end. It's a little lengthy, I'm sure, but all the information I'm about to cover is going to be useful to you. This entire video is about your final project in the class. I want to make sure that you have all the information you need to be successful at it, and so I'm just going to kind of run through all the directions and make sure that I can give you some pointers just in case you're unfamiliar with how to write an essay like this. Okay, so it's going to be on the topic that you picked at the very start of the semester. If you need help with that, if you need me to go back and cover that for you or share with you the particular topic that you picked, please let me know. But the expectation there was that you would read that you have already read it, and that at this point you're prepared to write your final project on this particular book. You should not use summaries. You should not, under any circumstances, use something like Spark Notes or Cliff Notes or whatever. Don't use those resources. You should be drawing upon your own first-hand knowledge of this particular book that you have chosen. Okay, with that in mind, you're going to write an essay that connects the topic that you have chosen directly to the course content. So it might be helpful to think of this as an extended exploration. Whereas instead of normally you would interview somebody, instead you have interviewed the book, so to speak. So you have read the book, and now you're going to think about how that book connects to our course and our themes in specific and meaningful ways. All right, so it should be formal. What that means is that you need to use markers of formality. This would be things like avoiding contractions, making sure that you do not begin a sentence with the coordinating conjunction. Those are fanboys for and, nor, yet, but, or, yet, so. Got a little out of order there. But make sure that you use complete sentences, that you don't have fragments, that you organize all of your ideas into paragraphs. That's a basic requirement for any writing whatsoever. That you go above and beyond the 5-paragraph essay structure, because that's simply too short. Those are too few paragraphs for something like this, and so forth and so on. So it's going to be formal. If any part of your paper is plagiarized, you're going to receive a 0 for the entire essay. This includes the use of AI. It includes the use of outside resources. Anything that you copy and paste directly into your essay without attribution, meaning that you cite it, it will result in a 0 for the entire essay. You need to have at least 4 full written pages. This does not include a cover page and a references page if you choose to use APA. And it also does not include the works cited page. By the way, this should be in MLA. I'm a little forgiving here. If you want to go into a field tied to APA, I don't mind if you write it in APA. But you'll need at least 3 academic sources. In addition to the book, you need to make sure that you do cite the book. So you'll have at least 4 things on your works cited / references page. This is a link to a reference guide, to a research guide. Again, APA I'm okay with it. You have your rubric down here at the bottom, but APA I'm okay with. Just try to do MLA. If you're unfamiliar with that, I'm okay with APA. Okay, so let's skip over here to a little information from English 111, because this will be helpful to you. You can pause the video at this point when I get to the screen, because some of you, this might be brand new information. You want to read it. This is a great way to read it. Just pause the video and read it. If this is not new information to you, it's probably a review, but this is a critique, and basically you're doing your critique, and I'm going to explain my way through it here. So you want to summarize the book. That should be, I would say, no more than 3 paragraphs. That's about a page. So in a 4-page essay, you're going to want to summarize that as briefly as possible to kind of set it to the side so your reader can see that you understand what the book means, and so that your reader can understand what the book means as well. You want to state the purpose that the author had. So, for example, with Uncle Tom's Cabin, the purpose of Harriet Beecher Stowe was to make an argument for emancipation, and that's what the entire book was about. But you also want to assess that purpose. Does Harriet Beecher Stowe actually achieve that purpose in her book? If we go to Frederick Douglass wanted to show the inhumanity, the utter inhumanity of how slaves were treated in the American South during his time as a slave. And so that's his purpose. Does he achieve that purpose? Yes. Well, how does he achieve that purpose? Now you're doing this in another 2 or 3 paragraphs after the 3 or 4 that you used. The 3 that you used to summarize it. So you're explaining what Frederick Douglass's purpose was, how you know Frederick Douglass had that purpose, or Harriet Beecher Stowe, or whoever your author is. And then you're assessing that purpose, and you're showing how you know that they did or did not effectively achieve that purpose. So, Frederick Douglass did a great job of showing the inhumanity because he told the story, for example, of a slave who refused to follow orders and was immediately killed right there in front of his eyes. He tells the story of his I believe it's his aunt that is being beaten right there in front of everybody else, and her cries in front of everybody else. So, yeah, that's pretty brutal, and it shows that he does achieve his purpose. However, you can also disagree with some of that too. You might say, for example, that Frederick Douglass gets a little lost at times in some of his narrative. For example, at the very end of the book, he goes on an extended sort of rant, I guess you could call it, against Christianity, the Christianity of the South. This detracts from focusing solely on his purpose, or you might say that it actually achieves his purpose further. Again, you're assessing. You don't have to like everything. You don't have to not like everything. You can have a mixed bag of things there. So again, you're summarizing. Now you've stated the purpose. You've assessed that purpose. And then we get to the response portion. Now, as it says down here at the bottom, let me scroll down slightly. As it says at the bottom, be fair. Okay, so maybe you read Frederick Douglass's work again, and you're just like, wow, this is incredibly boring to me. Okay, but let's be fair. It's boring to you, but it's an important document. And it's an important document that reveals the humanity of people during this particular time period and the lack of humanity, so to speak. So you have to be fair and set aside, maybe you don't like that kind of writing. Maybe it's because it's an older form of writing, but let's set that to the side and be fair. This is an important book, and it's an important book for good reason. So as you respond, make sure that you are fair, and make sure also that you use opinion and not belief. And by opinion, I mean something that can be supported with facts that you could show to other people. This is something that's often misconstrued in the college experience, but it basically boils down to beliefs and feelings are great. They give our lives meaning, but we have to set them to the side because we can't prove those to other people like we can with something that's associated with facts. So, for example, if I want to prove something to you, I might go and pull facts and statistics to do that. I can't do that with feelings and beliefs, right? I don't have facts and I don't have statistics about me feeling sad or happy or hungry, right? So I can't demonstrate that to you. So stick to something that you can demonstrate. And again, that's where your research portion comes in. That's why you have a research requirement here, because the intent is to research and see what other people are saying about this particular topic and then incorporate that into your overall essay. By the way, if you are in English 112, or if you've had English 112, you're already doing this. You are ahead of the game because you've had some research practice with they say, I say. If you don't know what that is, I very strongly suggest that you take English 112 as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we don't have to overcomplicate it. Again, summarize the work, a couple paragraphs, state the purpose, and assess that purpose in a couple paragraphs, and then respond using research while being fair and using opinion, not belief. Okay, simple enough. Now let's do one more thing. Let's come over here to the main college webpage, just in case you're unfamiliar with research and how to find appropriate resources. Because again, coming back over here, academic resources. That means we cannot use Wikipedia, we cannot use SparkNotes, we cannot use ClickNotes, we cannot use anything like that. We need academic resources. So coming over to the main webpage, student resources, library, and then you can go to the A to Z database list and select the database that way, or you can type directly into this box. So there are a lot of different things that I've been researching here as well. I could type Frederick Douglass into this box, and it'll pull up automatically a whole bunch of different articles. But when I search for Frederick Douglass, I want to make sure that I sort my search results by scholarly and peer-reviewed, journal article, and I want to try to limit it to, I would say in this case, probably the last 5 years would be a good round amount. So you can see I have 223 results now, and I can sort through these and kind of see what catches my eye. Is anybody here talking about the things that I myself am talking about in my essay? So, and by the way, this is going to require some digging, and it's going to require some time. And because of that, I would make sure that if I were you, I don't write this paper on the day before it's due at 4 o'clock, because that is just setting yourself up for failure. But I want to draw attention to something else. This is the main library database, and it's going to have a lot of very useful information. But let's back up just for a second and go back to this screen. So again, we have, let me just walk you through it one more time. We're here, student resources, library. Now instead of typing in that box, we want to go to the A to Z database list. We want to jump down to G, and we want to go to the Gale Literature Resource Center or Gale Literary Sources. Either one will work. Let's just jump into this one. And then we can type in the exact same thing. So in this case, I'm going to type in Douglas. And I get that many results, right? Because this database is specifically geared toward literary criticism and the engagement with literature. And that's, I mean, you read a book, so that's what this is. You're engaging with literature in a historical way, but you're engaging with literature. And so that means that now you have the resources that you need. All of the ones that you see in either of these databases, I will accept as long as you have sorted them in the way that I just showed. If you did not sort for journals, if you allowed newspapers in there, that's kind of iffy. So I may or may not accept those, but just be careful and make sure that you use the research databases that are available to you. If you get stuck, if you need help, if you have questions, I am here to help, but you need to use me as a resource in a timely fashion. As I say in the update, you cannot try to reach out and contact me 24 hours before the due date because I probably won't have time to respond. And so that's why I said in the very first video in the entire class, I'm happy to provide feedback. I will not provide feedback on spelling, grammar, or formality because we have resources on campus to do that. But I will provide feedback on yes, you're on the right track, or no, you're not on the right track, or let me just, yeah, you seem to be on the right track with MLA, and so forth and so on. So again, you need to contact me in a timely fashion so that way I can help. Okay, that gives you all the information you need to be successful at this essay. Now it's just a matter of writing the essay. If you have questions, if you need help, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in next week's update.